we started off pretty strong. Okay, we got some Legos here to kind of start off the whole event because right as you walked in to QuakeCon 2026, mind you, this was at a hotel. This is at a hotel slash resort. And I know of this hotel slash resort because I've been here multiple times here in Texas to it. It was in fact called the Gaylord, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely like stunning, just how beautiful this whole hotel and resort is. Because you can definitely tell that it is been a grand staple of Texas and everything, especially just because of the fact that you kind of walk on in and you just see a lot of things that are just absolutely straight up Texas core. I'm not kidding. You walk in and the further you walk into it, I kid you not, there was things such as like there was a boot store slash boot cleaning, like booth that was going on. There was places where you could get cowboy hats. There was also a bar. There was also a coffee shop. And then there was also a gift shop. And the gift shop was, of course, for just Texas-related stuff. Because, obviously, if you're just traveling and coming on into Texas, you probably want to leave with something Texas-related if you get if you go to, once again, the gift shop. And so I kid you not, it was like walking into a modern Wild West saloon, because just the overall budget of this place in particular was kind of insane. And so because of that, I just was like, yeah, I was like, this place really hasn't changed a bit, but it also has in the sense that it has modernized itself. That's for sure. So great to see it again because I haven't been to this place in like years. And it was just great to go back into it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this portion of it. I remember this portion. I didn't know that they had a full-on convention center at this hotel. I literally did not know that because I've stayed here before at the hotel portion, but I didn't know there was a convention center connected directly to it. So, that was brand new news to me because it was just something that I fully did not expect from this whole event. But, I should probably known whenever I looked it up, and then it said that it was a hotel and convention center, and I said, that kind of makes sense, honestly. Which we'll get more into the whole convention center, and we will, in fact, basically check out what was going on there, the whole QuakeCon event and everything later into the stream here today. Also, JB, great to see you, the one and only. That is one of my coworkers that is in fact in the chat. Hope you're doing absolutely fantastic here today. Welcome on into the stream. Look, I know this is pretty crazy that you saw the going live notification and then you saw me. No, look, here's the thing. People already know my name, so that's fine because it's literally on my socials. It's right here on my socials that I put it directly. So that's fine. I have no issue with that at all. I will say this though, what is going on with the picture here? What's going on with all of the pictures here is because I'm full screened, who knows? Anyways, who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Anyways, sorry, going back to what I was saying, I do want to take a moment to point out, Claus, your message. Feel free to do a lead up on whenever you want to announce that because I will stop talking about QuakeCon for just a moment. And then I will, in fact, make some room for your announcement that is for your esports organization. Also, I need to move this up a little bit more because I need some headroom. We'll also talk about something a little bit later into the stream here today because there is something in particular that I have to also announce to you guys that is not as huge as what Claus is trying to announce, but more or less, this is something that is it's slightly big to me, but it is also something that you guys fully expect from me because it is a yearly occurrence. So there's that. You're worried that look, I will say this. I'm also available to be found on Wikipedia. Okay, it's not hard to find me on there. That's for sure. You could literally just, if you have an association of what you're trying to find, it is on the Wikipedia page. It's just as simple as that. So I just keep it as it's public information. So therefore, I'm in the public eye, right? Also, I need to see something real quick here. Okay. I just got a big notification that told me that it was important, and I was like, okay, because it's important, let me see it. And then I saw it. I was like, okay. But no, my name is not Michelin like the tires. It is in fact, It is exactly what you think it is, because everyone that sees me and meets me for the first time is like, wait a second. Or I actually have a funny story. Actually, I have a pretty funny story. I introduced myself as myself to someone who introduced themselves as their own name, not like their content creator name. And it was funny because one of my friends, who I'm gonna bring up later into the stream here, like bring up, he was like, "Wait a second, your name is Tyler. It's not Mitch." I was like, "Yes, it's not Mitch. Like that's just a prefix of my last name, or yeah, prefix of my last name right there." And so it was like, well, that's news to me. And I was like, how long have we known each other? What, since 2019? I think it's been since 2019. And we've known each other for a good couple of years at this point. And you didn't know this. It's on my Twitter, man. It's on my X. You know, crazy. Crazy, crazy stuff. So I just thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, so I know you guys are like, wait a second. So you went to a Lego building? No, I didn't. I did not. Trust me. I actually went to a full-on building, which was in fact a hotel. And this next picture is actually the hallways that I was talking about with one of my friends. Well, actually, this is just me by myself. I'm sorry. This is just actually a picture of me that I took. I thought it was a good photo. If you didn't know, the thing that I'm right in front of is in fact a 3, because this was the 30th QuakeCon. I thought it was also pretty cool because they managed to do it where it was 3 and Q, because obviously it's QuakeCon. You have the Q for QuakeCon. That was a pretty cool logo right there. Also, chat, do you guys think that I will be at the next QuakeCon here in 2026 if they host it? Or I'm sorry, 2027 if they host it? Because here's the thing, that would be the 31st QuakeCon. And look, I'm not saying that, TC Mich 31 is pretty big there. However, maybe I could be, because if you really think about it, who knows, right? That's just going to be something that I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to nibble on and kind of think, will it happen? Will that happen, right? Also, pretty wild that you guys were saying that that was for my 30th birthday. I'm not that old just yet, but here's the thing. I actually do need to take a little bit of a side quest here to talk about the fact that I wasn't live for a good couple of days / a week because of obviously work. But another thing was me celebrating my birthday. Thank you all for coming out to my little pre-birthday stream that happened, like about a week ago at this point. And I'm a year older, and now here's the thing. Yeah, 30 is not old. Exactly, because my goat is turning 30. Okay. And look, here's another crazy thing, chat, that I need to put into account here, that this is something I just discovered, right? I've discovered that people in their 30s are very, very easy to talk to and very, very nice to be friends with. Like, that is just a generalization that I've made, and it is something I've noticed because I've met a lot of people, or I know a lot of people that are in their 30s. I'm not going to say who they are because obviously privacy reasons, but I do want to say that I have some friends that are literally in their 30s, and I did not know that because I legitimately thought that they were in their late 20s, maybe early 30s. But they were like, no, I'm halfway on like my 30s and stuff. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm like, that is kind of insane to me because I thought you were, late 20s, early 30s. Once again, that actually just happened to be at work the other day. JB is gonna know who I'm talking about here, but I was talking to one of our leaders of our shift, and we were talking about how old we were because obviously I was turning a year older and stuff, and we were talking about just how old all of us were, and I thought she was 28 years old, and she's like, I'm 35. Like, what do you how do you know that? How did you think I was 28? I appreciate it, but I'm 35 years old. And I'm like, that's crazy because I did not think you were at all. At all. Also, NB, good to see you. Thank you. Good day indeed, my friend. I agree. Thank you for coming on in. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well here today. Sorry, I'm just sipping on water right now because I got to keep hydrated because it's back to double digits, but we were in just triple digits mere hours ago, so that was fun. But yeah, if you're just joining on in, we're talking about QuakeCon 2026, the 30th QuakeCon, and also talking about just little side tangents too, because today I don't think I'm going to be gaming on stream. I think I'm just going to be doing just chatting. So if you guys have any questions about QuakeCon, or if you have really any questions about what I've been doing since the last time that I streamed, which was that charity stream, which we are going to talk about later here also, feel free. This is the time, because it is, once again, just a just chatting stream. But yeah, I thought this was a good photo. I liked it a lot. And I'll also say this, just to kind of get it out of the way, because this is, I feel like, something that I could really close with, but I'm going to put it at the opener rather than the close, is this event was so awesome that I want more people to go to it. Anyone that I did not invite that was local to me that I should have invited this year, I hope they can come next year. Or anyone who wasn't able to make it this year, I hope they can make it next year. It's just as simple as that. I had so many people that were seeing these photos and they're like, I wanted to be there. Like, I should have been there, you know? Because I was like, you honestly, it's a pretty great barrier of entry, $15. And also, like, it's fun. It's really, really fun. Once again, we'll talk more about why I think it was really fun later into the stream. But Envy, yes, I just saw, by the way, what you just said. That's a pretty big bombshell to drop here in the chat. Congratulations, though. Can I officiate your wedding by any chance? Can I do that? You know, because I'll do it. Or actually, you don't have to have me officiate the wedding. You can have me speak at the wedding. I think this would be a fair deal. Guys, hear me out. Do we think this is a fair deal? Do we think this is a good deal on being able to, have that? And yes, we can live stream it too. I know of ways to be able to live stream IRL to where we won't drop we wouldn't drop the feed, or at least we'll have a backup feed, so to speak, right? Which we'll talk about backup feeds with the charity stream a little bit later too, on top of that. But I do have a question. And that question is from the one and only I Hard for JB. He asks, what was your favorite part about QuakeCon? Great question. I'm gonna be like, I think it's kind of split into two things, because one thing in particular was a little bit more of a corporate side of it because it was a sponsor, but then another part of it was in fact just the overall social ability. It's on August 23rd. Holy cow, that is 10 days for now, buddy. This is a little bit short notice, I'm gonna admit. I don't know if I could travel out to where you are in 10 days or less. However, miracles can happen. Also, actually, now that I think about it, let me see something, because I need to see the schedule, which once again also we'll be talking about that later. That is a Sunday, so I could make it. However, work usually has me on Sundays. JB and chat as my witness. If I were to call out on a Sunday, 10 days from now, and they would have me alive. Like they would skin me alive. I would die. Because we would need every single hand on deck, because Sundays are notoriously the most ruthless days of our workplace. It's just as simple as that. And they're ramping up to be even worse because of football seasons starting back up. So that's another thing. However, Envy, we can make a rain check here. Okay, if I have a legitimate reason, I think we can make a rain check here. I think we can make this happen, right? But going back to what I was saying on favorite part, I have two favorite parts technically. I'll start off with the corporate part, okay? And also, Envy, welcome back. Good to see you. I was just talking about how I wouldn't be able to do it in 10 days. However, I can make a stipulation. I can make a detour to, in fact, go to your wedding and, talk at your wedding. Or be at said wedding and congratulate you, in person, travel and such. However, let's go back to what I was talking about for favorite part of QuakeCon. Favorite part of QuakeCon on the corporate side was there were a lot of sponsors there, including but not limited to Red Bull, NVIDIA, AMD, Corsair, and other brands too. New Blood. There was LandFest, which we will talk about LandFest later. And honestly, I had great interaction with all of the booths that I was able to go up to. I didn't get I got one free Red Bull. I should have got more. I should have taken advantage of that, because I did have one free Red Bull, but I should have had more. However, I had a great time at the Corsair booth. Shout out to Andrew. Great person to interact with. He was super nice, and we were just going deep into conversations about Corsair related stuff. I told him about my K65 Mini, which I'm using right now as we speak, and then also this mouse that I'm using, which is the Qatar Pro gaming mouse, which is for the streaming computer. not my gaming one. The gaming one is a Razer one. Please don't tell Corsair that I'm also using one of their competitors. Okay, please don't tell them. I'm using an Elgato mic and Stream Deck though, so like I should be safe, right? However, I think truly one of my favorites was the AMD booth, because the AMD booth essentially had it split into this. There was free play for anyone who was generally attending there, to where they, bought the pass like I did, which was a fan pass. You can play whatever you want on there. Anything that was pre-installed, or you can install whatever that was free to play, or if you signed into your account, you can install things from there, just as long as you would uninstall it after, because it's like an internet cafe, right? This whole weekend was basically an internet cafe because it was a big LAN party. However, chat, what I decided to do in the free play, like, you had your basic heavy hitters installed. You had Quake, you had Doom, you also had Crimson Desert, and like these were all like AMD sponsored titles. But chat, there was one game in particular I wanted to see if they had in the library, and this is actually something that I caught on to very fast, because apparently the AMD rental PCs were in fact ones that I've seen before at DreamHack. And if you didn't know, whenever I went to the free play PCs in DreamHack, I did in fact add Smite 2 and Paladins to the library, to most of the PCs, or at least a couple of them, that is. And chat, I was happy to announce that I'm happy to announce that I was able to in fact find out that Paladins was registered to the account that was signed into that PC, installed it immediately. However, I have very unfortunate news, Paladins gamers. The game got uninstalled the day later because they found out that I installed Paladins, and they're like, wait a second, we need to cycle the space that's on this thing, because it's only like 125 gigs or something like that, or maybe it was 256. It was a very limited SSD. And so me having Paladins on it, which takes up about 30 gigs, that could have been 30 gigs devoted to Doom, or to, Quake, or something like that, or Counter-Strike 2, which I actually did play Counter-Strike 2. So that was fun. But I did convince one of my friends to play Paladins, and we won the match. So that was pretty fun. But I will also say that shout out to the other things at the AMD booth. There was a little card that we had to do, where we had to travel in the AMD booth to check out the desktops, the laptops, handhelds, and then make an AMD gaming account. And then if you got all of your holes punched with stickers, basically, you were able to go up to a claw machine and then try to win a Lego prize, which was a build your own motherboard / GPU from AMD, right? It was a little like sponsor thing that they had. And, you can try it as many times as you want. We found out that you can try it an unlimited amount of times on the second day. I found that out. That's also fine, by the way, Klaus. No problem. Once again, gear me up by saying, hey, I'm about to say it. And then that way I can, cut off the conversation, and we can bring your conversation into, or bring your announcement into the light. So then that way it doesn't have conflicting interests, where it's like me trying to talk about QuakeCon, you trying to talk about your announcement, boom, 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 butting heads kind of thing, right? I'll end off the AMD thing with this. The people that I met there were actually representatives of AMD. One of the guys that kept doing the stickers was in fact like someone that was very high up in the company, like he was under marketing or something like that. And it was really funny because we kind of like hit it off by just talking about like AMD products and things like that, and how like I was like, oh, I want to upgrade and get like a 9070 for my my streaming PC because of like AV1 and stuff like that. It's just, I think it's great. And he's like, yeah, like this card rips 16 gigabytes VRAM, blah 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 and all that stuff. And so we just got to talking and stuff, and kid you not, every single time I went back to that AMD booth, he would look at me and just be like, hey, I know this is the third time you've been here today. Don't tell anyone I did this. And just slap 4 stickers onto my punch card just so I could get a chance, because there was raffles daily. There was raffles daily for AMD products, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too. I know I'm saying that a lot, but we will talk about this a little bit later. Something very, very big happened to one of my friends that is actually going to be in one of these photos. I do see like a thumbnail that is his photos, because the thing is that we combine my photos and videos and his photos and videos onto a hard drive, and then this is what we got of it. I will say this also, I did not get a walkthrough of QuakeCon. I want to do that next year if I do attend. I apologize for that. I really do, once again, apologize for that, because that is something that I wanted to do, but I just kind of was having a little bit of fun, just screwing around, having a good time with friends and stuff like that, meeting new friends and all that. But to the end AMD story, the person at the claw was super duper sweet. She was really, really nice. And she kept seeing me go up and everything to the point where I think it was the third day, which was the last day that I attended with my friends. She looks at me and she's like, hey, come here real quick. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she's like, don't tell anyone we're giving this to you. Okay. I was like, okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you guys. Thank you. I won this. So chat, we are going to build this on stream possibly one day. Just, I don't know when. Look, all I will say is this. If Safwin can build Gundams and Legos on stream, TC Mitch 31 can do the same. Okay. I can do that. I can, trust me. Trust me. That's 228 pieces, by the way, for that Lego set. So that's what I won this weekend. I actually want to talk about what I was going to talk about later to you guys. One of my friends that went with me, which if I can find a photo of him, because I'm actually going to pull up a photo of him real quick, because he's actually right here. But here, I'll pull myself into it too. So this was my friend Cam Paradise. You have seen him before. You have, in fact, heard him before on this very channel. And during the AMD raffle on the first day, we both had tickets that were pretty much the same in terms of value. Like, we were only a couple of values away from each other because we both got our tickets at the same time. So we're sitting there, we're waiting for the golden goose to, happen, where it's like, we win, right? We win something, whether it be the RAM that they were giving out, the coolers they were giving out. They were giving out, I think, I'm trying to think what else they were giving out. They're giving away CPUs. Which that was the big one, the big ticketed item. They even give away RAM, which a lot of people went crazy for it was just like 16 gigs of RAM, and yet everyone was going crazy for that. But it was DDR5, so that was kind of crazy to see. However, chat, first day, only day that he went, by the way, mind you, because he did in fact have some plans and everything, so it's totally understandable. But kid you not, one of the last giveaways that was happening was for an AMD Ryzen 7 9800X 3D, which is a 2-year-old CPU. It is very, very new. It has V cache and everything. He wins it. And I'm just sitting there. He also was going through allergies at the time, so his voice wasn't fully like available to be thrown. And so I kid you not, he looks at his ticket and he's like shaking. He's like, oh my God, that's me, like to me, like whispering that to me, because like obviously he doesn't want to yell. And so whenever they announced the numbers in the winner, I go, it's this guy right here, it's him. Everyone starts clearing the way for him, and then he goes in, and I'm just like, I when he won that prize, I hope that there is footage or at least a photo. He comes back to me and I'm just like, bring it in, man. And I just give him like the biggest hug. It was hilarious. I was so happy for him. And honestly, because here's the thing, he has like a mid-range CPU from AMD, or I think, no, he has a mid-range Intel. So that was a considerable upgrade. However, bad news, we found out that he doesn't have an AM5 or DDR5 compatible board. It is just an Intel compatible board, meaning he has to get a brand new motherboard in order to use the thing he won. So, a little bit unfortunate. However, I am in fact very, very happy for him, because he was super excited, and he immediately was like, yeah, I'm coming back next year. He's like, I'm coming back next year. And I'm like, I get why you're coming back next year. You want to see if you can win again, but also because he did in fact like the event. It wasn't just because of what he won. Chat, this is in fact not one of my photos. This is actually one of his photos. There was a lot of cool cases that were around. A lot of cool cases that were around that you were going to see a couple of photos of that are custom through just, that are custom from the players that were there, and then also custom from like AMD, like sponsors. AMD had one, Corsair had one. There was one that you could win from Corsair for charity with the LANFest. And yeah, just a lot of stuff. A lot of really, really cool cases that you're going to see. This one's a Doom themed one, as you can see. You've got your squirrel, you've got, Doom guy, you got the Kako demons and everything, and you've got, the CPU with the little pentagram for Doom, and then also, I think that's a 3060 Ti? 30, yeah, that looks like a 3060. If I'm not mistaken. And then, the red fans and everything, just got to have that aesthetic. It's a nice case too. It's a pretty simple case. I mean, hey, you had a lot of people that had very basic cases, but they made up for it in like execution of the things that were at their desk or in their case. And then you had some people that, had just huge overblown cases, but it was like totally fine because it looked really, really cool. It was like, trust me, you're gonna understand when you see the later photos and everything. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. I have the stream on mute, and it looks like Mitch is saying the same exact thing over and over again because of his mannerisms. Turn on closed caption, TK, because I promise you I'm not saying the same things. That way you can enjoy the stream on mute, which is what I recommend whenever it comes to one of my streams, enjoying it on mute, and then you go from there, right? You go from there, you put on closed captions, bing bada boom, bam 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 bam, you're good to go. What was it also that I wanted to say? I want to go back to the favorite thing about QuakeCon thing, because I talked about the corporate side of it, but I want to talk about just the overall community side of it. My favorite thing at QuakeCon in general, talking to people. No joke, met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. Dude, gaming communities, fantastic. I think they're one of the most passionate communities, and also one that I was able to like ease into conversations easier, because I was like, you know what, I go to these events and I barely talk to anyone. Like, I just stay within my group and I barely talk. Like, whenever I go to a sponsor, I just kind of like dilly dally around it. I'm like, oh, that 5090 is pretty cool and stuff like that. But I don't talk to anyone about the 5090. Like, I used to do that back in the day at DreamHack, but then it just got to a point where I just started, like not really talking to anyone at booths and stuff. I just more or less talked to like my friends and such. But I took the time to like interact, especially because there was one day where I was alone. I was just by myself, and I took the time to just stroll around, see what people were playing, interact with people playing games that I enjoyed. Like Call of Duty was one of the examples. I talked to someone playing Call of Duty, which was actually really cool, because I talked to a guy that owns a jersey shop that he's getting esports jerseys in, and he's also like, hey, you're an Optic fan, right? I was wearing my Optic Texas jersey, the Rangers one that was a giveaway a couple years ago. I mean, like yearly, they've been a giveaway, and there's another one going on right now, or that's going to be going on soon, which I unfortunately might not be able to acquire. However, the point is that the guy was like, hey, I 3D printed this and I was gonna put it up for sale, but I saw that you were an Optic fan, so I'm gonna give it to you for free. It's a little 3D printed Optic gaming keychain, and it's a phone holder. You literally put your phone right there, and it actually works. It actually works. It keeps my phone locked in. And I actually was just using it off camera. I was just using it off camera. For anyone who's wondering, like, I'm literally just like looking at it right now, and I'm just checking it out. I'm like, oh, look at this. Oh, I'm using it. Also, TK, glad that you can hear me now. Great to hear from you in the chat, because now I can directly be able to hold a bridge, and the bridge being that I can talk to you directly. I can say at that girl TK, right? Because you can hear that now, right? You can hear that now, and that's some good dedication. Most women try not to hear me. Okay, they just say, oh, Mitch is talking again. Let me just slightly tune him out real quick. Let me just white noise. And then you just have me like repeatedly talking. So that's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild. Good for you. Good for you. Let's see what we got up next, by the way, at QuakeCon. Once again, if anyone has any questions about QuakeCon or anything that I've been doing, please, this is a just chatting stream. I just want to be chill and talk to you guys today. So please let me know. I think this picture explains itself, chat. This picture explains itself. This is what, look, this was before they uninstalled it, okay? And there's actually video that coincides with this. So I'm going to play that video right now, and I'm going to pause the music real quick. So give me just a moment. Give me just a sec. There's a video that coincides with that Paladin's picture. So keep that Paladin's picture in mind. I know the audio. Wait, is the audio that quiet?
PCMX 31 here.
Okay, surely I can pull this up on Twitter, because I think it would be a lot louder. Yeah, I have this on Twitter, so I don't know why that was so quiet. But hear me out. Oh wait, why is this like this? No. Wait. Yeah, okay, we're good. Check this out. Claus has not made the announcement yet, but he did tell me that he was gonna let me know whenever he was gearing up. Okay, here's the video that coincides with it.
It's me, TC Mich31, here at QuakeCon 2026 at the Gaylord, Grapevine, Texas. I wanted to let you all know I am doing a bit of a task that is Herculean in a literal and also metaphorical sense, because I have managed to infiltrate the AMD free play by installing, that's right, Paladin Champions of the Realm, and also Smite 2. Wish me the best of luck on this, as I may in fact be banned from this event for doing such a thing. It's me, TC.
That's all it was. I installed it. Then here's the picture. And I said day 2 QuakeCon update. They uninstalled it. It's just, it was a saga in 3 pictures and videos. This made me really sad. I was like, man, I don't know if I want to reinstall Paladins anymore. And then I reinstalled Paladins on the charity PC, which once again, we'll talk about that one whenever we get around to it. What was the last picture I was just on, by the way, chat? Last picture I was just on was it that one? No. What was it? I need to find it. I need to lock in. Where is it? There it is. Found it. Boom. Bam. What's the next picture? Oh yeah, it was Paladins. Perfect. Yeah. So pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to talk about anything regarding Paladins. I'm just very happy that the Paladins August 9th thing happened, where people hopped on, especially because, chat, I need to admit to you guys that on my charity stream that I did, kid you not, I had awful games in Paladins. Great games in Smite 2. Awful ones in Paladins. That's all. Everyone in the chat, just real quick, I'm going to take a moment to stop talking about QuakeCon 2026 for just a moment, because one of my moderators, that is in fact Reigns Claus, has an announcement that he wants to make here in this very chat about his esports organization. So with that being said, chat, I'm going to put full focus on him. While he's typing it up, because I know he's typing it up right now. If you guys have anything that you want to add in, feel free. This is the time to 100%. And then I will go about it just to bide the time, and then we're going to put full focus onto it, because like I said, Claus said that it was a longer announcement, and so I know he's probably typing it up right now. But this is a perfect time for me to take a little bit of a break, take a moment. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run some ads just so chat members do in fact not get like snacked into that. So I'm just running like a minute 30 seconds. Super simple. I just want to talk about one thing real quick, chat, with that announcement also is not Claus announcement, but more or less just the announcement in general, because I was on Twitch. Chat, I don't know why yesterday Twitch thought it was a good idea to have an opt-in, opt-out for generative AI learning for Twitch.tv. It's kind of awful. And expeditiously, I turned that off. I was like one of the first people to report it, because I saw it on my feed, and I said, I know this is not going to go over well with anyone, and for good reason. And so, yeah, I'm just like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? And then they try to cover it up by saying, well, if we had it to where it was, in fact, off by default, no one would wanted to opt in. And it's like, yeah, well, because no one wants to opt in by default. You have it on by default. Mind you, I went to my dashboard. I was on by default. Everyone else on by default. And so we had to turn it off. But you're going to get those streamers or the people that just aren't savvy enough to be, going into streaming or really content creation, or even watching for that matter. And they're just going to keep it on because they just don't want to dig through the Twitch settings. Because mind you, the Twitch settings, it's a completely different tab, whatever. It's just me ranting at this point, right? So, fun. Great. Love it. Amazing. Woo. That's all I have to say. Welcome back, by the way, to all the chatters. I do want to let you all know that you really did not miss anything if you were in ads. I was just ranting about the whole Twitch-related thing where they decided to, by default, put us all as our channels were having learning through generative AI. And how I just thought it was a really stupid decision, as is many decisions that Twitch makes on a weekly basis, monthly basis. I would say monthly is a little bit more generous to them because they don't mess up every week, but they do every month. You know, with one good change and then like 15 bad changes. So, what can you do? What can you do? That's all I gotta say. I'm just checking up on some stuff real quick, by the way, so do not mind me. Claus, once again, for anyone who's in ads, Claus, my resident and head moderator, does in fact have an announcement. So we're taking a little detour, I guess you could say, to give him some time to say the announcement. I'm going to go back to the Paladins image. Actually, you know what? Here's what I need to do. I need to go back to just this image. I think this is a good image for people to come in on because they're going to see the thumbnail and they're going to be like, oh, he's talking about QuakeCon. You know, you said the announcement. Is it in the Discord? Is it in the Discord by any chance? Is this something I can share on stream? I mean, I have a feeling I can. Oh, it's in this chat? Wait, what? Wait, what? Am I stupid? Because I don't see it. Actually, I legitimately do not see it. Yeah, like are you able to go back to a previous message by any chance? Like pressing up on the keyboard or like user. Because I am just seeing the most recent chat messages. I think we got Pinker. Oh, I was like Pinker. Like did we change hues? I know I'm using a LUT right now, but okay. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Like you have to send it in chunks because I don't know why I didn't send the first time. I don't have like any crazy like auto moderation or anything. It's like should just be the a normal Twitch one. I'm also looking to see, guys, we're streaming in 160p also. Like not right now actually, like we are streaming in 1440p, but 160p, that's huge, man. That's amazing. Look, I actually legitimately recommend if like you have low data, you just gotta play the stream on like at least 480, maybe 360. You know, it's totally fine and it's totally justifiable because I'm sometimes at work and I just don't have the strongest data. So because I'm at work, I'm like, all right, we gotta crank this down. I really wish it was 720p because like 720p is okay on a phone screen, but like anything lower than that, I'm like, man, this looks blurry. But then I'm like, wait a second, that's like what we grew up with. Do you see it now? I don't. I do not. Are you able to put it in Discord by any chance? Because I don't. I'm just seeing the last message, which was I'll copy and pasta it. And also, do you see it now? Okay, that works too. That works too. Do you want me to share it to the chat? Because I can do that if you want me to. If you don't want me to share it to the chat, I will also just read it. I will absolutely just read it on my own accord. It is up to you. Because look, I also had some technical difficulties too. Can share it with chat. Okay, cool. I had some technical difficulties with the stream that was going on, the charity one, but luckily everything got smoothed out. And shout out to also the person that was running it because he was super cool, and I have something to talk to you guys about whenever I actually get to that portion. Okay, I was like, wait a second. I was like, is it this? Nope, that's just my going live announcements. Oh no! Oh no! Discord has an update. I'm not gonna update it. Okay, Claus has got it right here. Okay. Okay. So I got you. If Twitch allowed pictures, we'd be screwed. They allow GIFs now, apparently. Like they're testing something to where you can download or you can donate bits to put in a GIF in chat. Because I think it's through Giphy, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think like Discord just changed gifts to where it's now it's not tenor anymore. It's like God knows what it is now. I don't know. But chat, I got it right here, by the way. I got it right here from Claus. And the announcement is that Claus's esports organization officially has an MMO division now because they've acquired a small and dying MMO guild. And last night, deal was completely done. They're changing the name of the esport, or changing the name to the esport team name, but instead the name ending with a Z for the esports team, it will end with an S. Colors will be white and blue since esport team colors are black and blue. And we've decided to make a new Discord server for this guild since our main Discord focus is on esports. Took inspiration from Team Liquid and Liquid Guild and what they do for that and the esport team. And also that they are eyeing down Modern Warfare 4 Challengers League, which I will say this. I would love to compete in Challengers for Modern Warfare 4. I need to try the beta first in order to see if I'm good at the game. But yes. So Claus will in fact be also having an MW4 Challengers League, which honestly, please let me know what your team is, because I know you just let me know in the DM. I don't watch Challengers. I watched maybe like 1 or 2 matches from Huntsman, but I will absolutely lock into Challengers if you have a competing team. I will completely be rooting for that team, like just off the rip. Because I obviously have like Optic Texas to root for, and they literally just won Esports World Cup. Optic Gaming. But like, you know, that's the pro team that I'm rooting for. I'm gonna root for like a Challengers team other than like Huntsman, right? Especially because I think they just all got released over on Huntsman. So, you know, I gotta find a new team. But hey, congratulations on that, by the way, Claus. That's pretty big. That's pretty huge. I wish the best for both teams. I wish the best for your Discord also, and I hope your guys' talent is gonna go far, that you acquire and everything, especially because like just esports in general, like I would love to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I just know for a fact that I would not be able to. Like I bounced around the idea with some people in the chat to do a challengers team, like a challengers team in Modern Warfare 4, but I'm like, once again, I need to make sure I'm good at Modern Warfare 4 before I actually decide to do something like that, right? You never know. You never know. But Klaus, congratulations on that big achievement for you and the team. I hope you guys, I wish the best for you guys, and I will absolutely be rooting on you guys for challengers if you guys are in for challengers. Also, that's very, very nice, TK. And also, I'm dating someone. Yeah, that's right. We can both have pipe dreams here, TK. We both have pipe dreams. If you want to talk about that in the chat, 100%. Sorry, that was me. That was me being a little witty, I guess you could say. That was me right off the rip. But chat, let's go back to QuakeCon just real quick. Let's go back. Let's dial it back in. You know, Dashy is my second husband. Real, the real for that. And then you got Merc going icy. Because like that kid has ice in his veins. Like he's crazy, man. He's crazy. All right, back to QuakeCon, by the way. Paladins chat. This is a very small thing that I'm going to talk about here, but I thought it was really funny. There is in fact someone that managed to go on one of those very gray area websites that, you know, probably has a lot of ads. Maybe this one didn't have ads. Who knows? To find back rooms and play it on a projector on the wall. And so I sent this to my friends saying that Backrooms is now on the wall of the QuakeCon 2026. And also, it wasn't just Backrooms. This person also managed to stream, it was Masters of the Universe, the new Masters of the Universe movie that just came out. Also on the wall. And then I got to a point where I think they started streaming arcade games onto the wall because I think staff came over to them and said, hey, we can't be showing content that you do not own on these walls because we will get in trouble, you know, if this catches wind, and then we'll have to, like, this event, you know, we want to keep doing this event, right? So yeah, Backrooms was on the projector. That was kind of funny. Here's Cameron and I I think this is a pretty good photo. We decided to take it in front of this banner because this guy that also is right behind us decided to take it in front of the banner. So we kind of jacked his style, I guess you could say. But pretty simple picture. Now that I think about it, chat, I think we were both on point, Cameron and I. I like to look at my hair in these photos, and I'm like, man, I really had some pretty good hair. I think the hair product was on point in these photos for me. Me overall on point, well, that is debatable. I'm not gonna comment on that. K-pop Demon Hunters, y'all remember K-pop Demon Hunters? Bing bada boom, here you go. This is pretty cool. We saw a lot of custom builds. This was part of the NVIDIA booth. Pretty self-explanatory. I thought it looked awesome. I loved the cooler, by the way, because they were giving away these coolers throughout the event, and I'm like, look, I feel like I would mess that up, like the one with the screen, and like I think it's a water cooled cooler. I think I'd just mess it up. I'm wondering what even that GPU is. That looks like a 5080 because it is a RTX ROG, which I actually do also have an ROG in my streaming PC right now. But I mean, chat, look at that. That's pretty cool. You gotta admit. Also, it was playing Quake RTX. You can kind of slightly see it here. That is the Quake RTX version right there. And yeah, it also says like Quake RTX. But I thought it was cool to see that there was a little, just a little custom build that was from, K-pop Demon Hunters, Huntrix, and all that stuff. This one is in fact so I don't know what anime this is from. This is in fact a Cam Paradise picture. Cam just found some like cool cases, decided to take a photo of it. There's me in the background, by the way. So if you want to just, if you're like, hey, where were you in this? Here's me with my like shorts, which chat, while it was very hot outside, because, Texas, high doubles to low triple digit degrees, right? I made a mistake on the third day, which was the final day that I was there. Because if you saw the charity stream that was with Landfest in Dallas Pets Alive, I was wearing some shorts that day, and they were shorter shorts. They were like black shorter shorts, and chat, I was right underneath an air conditioning unit, like full on vent. That was from a very very high ceiling. It was just blowing up cold air that was like 60 degrees because they wanted to keep the pets cold too, directly onto me, onto a stream setup for 4 hours. Okay, if you go through that bot that is available on not only my channel but also the Landfest Twitch channel, you will see that I lose energy so fast in that stream, so fast. I say so fast, but more or less, I think it's about 2 hours in that you'll see me lose energy because I'm just sitting there and I'm freezing. Like I should have wore pants that day, or I at the very least had in like my backpack a change where I had pants on first and then maybe shorts on later, like to change into in the bathroom, because I was feeling it. Great little event though, and once again, I do want to kind of break that down for you guys, but I was just cold. I was just really cold. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, what can you do? What can you do? Cool case though. Very cool case that we got right here and right now. What do we have up next? We got Cam with also the Vault Boy, and then also the new logo for Bethesda. I also have a photo in front of this too, which I think is coming up. Should be in fact this one. No, this is the Doom case. This was a custom build that they had where they were playing Doom Eternal on it. And if you don't see the AIO cooler, that cooler right there is actually playing the original Doom, like a little GIF on loop, which is pretty cool. It didn't run Doom, but it was running a GIF of Doom, you know. And actually, yeah, here's me right here, which Chad, now that I come to think of it, like this is a great photo and everything. However, you ever see a photo after you take it and then you realize, hey, maybe I was just a little too locked in. Because I'm seeing this photo and I'm thinking to myself, not a bad photo by Cam. Not a bad one at all. Me, on the other hand, well, it's debatable. What can you do, man? What can you do? But I was like, dude, it's the Vault Boy. You gotta stick by him. I mean, come on, it's the Vault Boy. You know, why are you looking at my soul? Because you weren't at QuakeCon Incro, so I had to make up for it. You know. Also, I just see you just see the like I think that might be, oh no, that's HEIC. That's okay. Never mind. I was like, what's going on with the compression here? Good to see you, by the way, Incro. How are you doing today? Right here. Bam. Up next, the Doom PC. I did play Doom, by the way, and I tried to practice for a competition that was going on, which was the Ripatorium mode in the Dark Ages, and we had to play at least one level on Nightmare, and then we would be entered into win a 5070. However, I did not do so because there was a lot going on with the AMD booth, so I just kind of was like, okay, I'm going over to the AMD booth. I should have entered in because I didn't see a lot of people enter in, so whoever decided to enter in kind of won. Because there was barely any competition. It was a raffle, and I saw like maybe 5 people, enter into it. Spider PC, chat. I've seen these before at DreamHack. It was back at QuakeCon. These PCs are insane. If you didn't know, a Spider PC is a liquid cooled PC, as you can see here, with top of the line specs. I'm talking like top of the line CPU, top of the line GPU, and top of the line RAM, along with like SSD and things like that. That this alone, kid you not, probably costs around $7,000 to $8,000, maybe $9,000, depending on what parts you get. It's very, very expensive. It is very much so an enthusiast PC to look cool. I don't know personally anyone who has a Spider PC. However, I think these look awesome. But it's also like you get to a point where you're like, okay, while it may look cool and everything, you have to think about the fact that you might have to clean the water cool pumps in like a year or so, or you got to make sure that everything stays cool and things like that. You want to make sure that also like the glass doesn't break, because it's a lot of glass parts that are on that. Like, granted, yes, I'm looking at my PCs right now and I'm seeing the glass panels that are on the side. However, I'm a lot more careful with them to where I don't feel like I have to worry about them. I think these are both pretty sturdy, and I was like treating them like I was carrying a baby, because I've seen the horror stories of glass panels and them just shattering on a whale. So yeah, don't want that to happen. But like this, it's like, how do you even maintenance that, right? How do you even maintenance a Spider PC? Cool PC though, don't get me wrong. It's just, how do you maintenance one of these things? This is a picture that I've shown earlier. Once again, me and Cam in front of the 30th anniversary sign, this was pretty cool. This was right before check-in. I will say that I was a bit of a burden this past weekend, because I had bag checks every single time. And in said bag, I had lab mics, hard drive, battery pack, rig. Like, I had a grip that was for my phone for stabilization reasons. My Asus ROG Ally, because I wanted to play games, and I said, you know what, why not? This is a portable PC that I can bring, and various other things. I had a water bottle there. They were allowed to bring water bottles, which was huge. That saved me this past weekend, was getting complimentary water. I'm gonna admit, I actually didn't have that much like caffeine or anything like that. I as much as I thought I was going to. Like at DreamHack, I'm just slamming down Red Bulls and stuff like that. At this, I had like one Red Bull and then maybe like one pack of like or 2 packs of like something that was caffeinated for my water, and that was about it. Like I was mostly just slamming down waters because it was hot, because it was very, very hot. But complimentary water always reigns supreme. That's for sure. Never got to try balls though. You might think that sounds funny, but there's literally a drink called balls. That apparently everyone swears by at QuakeCons, and I've never tried it before, but it's apparently like 300 milligrams of caffeine in it. So I did not try it, but to the balls associates that are out there, I will try your drink next year. I promise. Promise. I will do so. What else? There was another thing that I wanted to say, I think, about this picture, or I think I wanted to say about just in general. There was the bag, there was the check, all that stuff. Swear that there was something else that I'm thinking of whenever it came to it. I think that was really it that I had for that. What else do we have? It's that picture again. You know, okay, guys. If you want to know how chopped and unk I am, look at me. I look like I'm rapidly decaying. Okay, I'm not going to dwell on this picture for long. Just know that this was at like 9 in the morning, right? That's all. Um, so there you go. Or maybe it was 10. I think it was like 10 in the morning, possibly. No, I think it was 9. Point being that this right here, guys, check this out. There was a little set box that was set up to where it looked like a basement. It looked like an 80s slash 90s basement. A lot of posters and memorabilia hung up and put, and this was awesome. This was really cool to see in person, just because I was like, this right here, it looks like the average basement of like a 1-story, or I'm sorry, 2-story, because obviously 1-story. Well, can you have a basement in a 1-story? Right, you could. I'm assuming you can. Possibly. Look, I don't know how architecture works, but this was awesome. What are basements? And they're under the house, technically, if you think about it. It's under the house. So I think you can have it in a 1-story if there's a way under your house to go into it, right? But I'm thinking most basements are in 2 stories, because I have cousins that are in Chicago that they have a 2-story and then they have a lead into the basement. It actually blows people's minds that we don't have those. Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot we barely have any basements here, or none at all. Yeah, true. Good point. You know what we have here in Texas? We have fallout shelters. Like, you might think I'm crazy, that I'm joking. No, we literally have doomsday shelters that people go into, that are bunkers. Which I mean, like, it just does not surprise me down here that would be a thing. But yeah, I mean, shoot, it is a thing that happens. It is a thing that people stay in whenever there's like tornadoes and things like that. But yeah, really, really cool to just see all this stuff around. Doom was in fact playing on multiple screens in it, and chat. It was really good to see another CRT screen. I've not seen a CRT screen since 2006, 2007. That's when we started getting HD TVs and HD monitors, where like the HD monitors could do like 720p. That's when we were starting to upgrade. That's when technology was getting to the point where we were upgrading to HD 16:9 monitors. You know, because I'm trying to think, when was it in elementary school that we decided to get those kinds of PCs? I think it was around third or fourth grade that we started getting PCs like that, where they were HP PCs, but they had Windows 7 installed onto them, and it was also just we had these brand new HD monitors that were really nice, because they plunked down a couple $1 million into our like school system, like our district, you know, which was it was crazy to see, going from like, once again, those CRTs monitors, and then going to like just a widescreen HD monitor, at the time HD monitor, which, it's crazy to me that 720p isn't even considered HD anymore. Like, I watched 720p get called HD on YouTube for so long, and then it got phased out, and now it's just a standard resolution, which is true. It is technically a standard resolution now. It is not high definition. It is pretty much standard now. It's definition. And whenever you go into 1080p, that's when you get into, I guess you could say, high definition. However, once 4K gets more of an adoption, 1080p is probably going to be a standard definition, which is crazy to think about. But that's not till years and years from now. Years and years. So you have attics in Florida because you can't have basements. You know what? That's another thing too. Attics. I completely forgot about the concept of an attic, because I'm just thinking of down below, like a basement, and I forgot that attics are up and above. So crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. But it's just crazy to think about that, like how a complete portion is just cut off entirely. It's just completely cut off, because you've decided, like, oh hey, I'm not we're not going to have one of these, or we can't have one of these, right? It's wild. It's very, very wild to me. Also, I'm seeing a bunch of like notifications for the thing that's going on right now, which is a legacy week for Optic. There's like a legacy week challenge that's going on where they're playing. I think they played Cold War today. They played Cold War is what happened, and it seems Shotzi's team won. Yeah. Oh no, Dashy's team won. So are you talking like the Optic Chicago team won against Optic Texas? Wild, man. Wild to think about. Apparently every single year at QuakeCon, and obviously I didn't know this because this was my first one, they have a memorial that is available in the middle of the show floor. It is in fact bathed in a spotlight, and it is a matte white computer along with a water bottle and like a desk that was in fact there for just the people that couldn't make it with us here today to enjoy the event, or the people that we have lost to prior things that attended the event previously. And for this one, I thought about it. There was in fact someone that I knew that unfortunately is no longer with us anymore, that I decided to immortalize onto this board that was with many other fantastic people that unfortunately were not able to once again be with us at this time. And this was my contribution. If I can like zoom on in, because I know zooming on these pictures are a little bit harder. I'll see if I can. Yeah, that's pretty good. That was my contribution right there. Was to the left. That is it's Fuzz. I won't get into details about on what happened, unfortunately, to him, but just know that that was in fact one of my friends that I've known since intermediate school, which most of you all consider middle school, which is like 5th through 8th grade, right? And countless times back in the day, him and I, along with his twin brother and also some of our friends, we would just be, this was back in like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, just like 2013, 2014. We would be just slamming Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Like, we would have so many great times just playing 1v1s in Nuketown 2025. We'd be playing sniper battles. We'd be, just playing Black Ops 2. Zombies. He was a huge Zombies fan. Origins was his favorite map. And it was just great times. Great times. It was a younger time that we were, all enjoying the game together. And it was just, a simpler time, so to speak, because we were kids at the time. We were teenagers. And, we were just trying to have as much fun as we could before, adulthood hit after high school and, college and et cetera and stuff like that. So I will absolutely admit this to chat 100%. After I made that, we took a moment of silence. I took a moment of silence also, just to respect the people that once again were unable to make it. And I decided to go off into the free play and stuff, just to I was gonna try to play some paladins or something like that. But honestly, Chad, I didn't even play anything in the free play. I just kind of sat there. I realized what I just did there, which was show respects to one of my friends, and I realized that friend was no longer with us, and I started like legitimately crying, like full on. I was just thinking about the good times that we had, and I started crying because I just miss my friend. I truly think that we had great times together, and I'm glad I remember those great times together, and I hope that our friends can also remember those great times we had together with it, like full on, because it's just something that I cannot forget at all, because it's completely burned in, like seared into my mind, just all the good times that we all had. So I'll admit it. I will fully admit that I did in fact cry, because I miss him. I just really do. It's as simple as that. So I decided to write that down. It is forever immortalized, and I'm very, very happy that it's forever immortalized, because along with many of the other people that have wrote in stuff too, they've also been immortalized. So it's just very, very nice to see the community all respect each other. You know, it's kind of beautiful actually to see this, because it's just like everyone, I can't tell you how many people that went up to this, and they were super respectful of it. They wrote in the person that meant the most to them, that just means a lot, you know, whether it be a friend, a family member, etc. And it was beautiful to see the gaming community kind of get together for something like that. It really was truly magical, honestly. But yeah, it's just it was just something that kind of settled in, honestly, whenever I was just sitting there, because like, you know me, I'm usually someone who likes to keep it lighthearted and cheery, and you know, obviously I can in fact be serious when I need it to be, right? I'm not always 100% just someone where I have to keep constant, you know, positivity or just like happiness and stuff like that. Like I can immediately know when a situation is something that I need to completely change emotion, because it's not appropriate for me to be, you know, upbeat and cheery. I have to lock in and I have to be serious. And I get that. And that's fine. I do that because I respect the situation that's going on. But yeah, it was just it just hit me, man. It really did in fact hit me, because I was like, man, I just couldn't, you know, I just couldn't say thank you all for all the memories and everything. Damn, I just couldn't, you know, which is it's just a sad thing to think about. But I will always thank him for such memories, and at all my friends, 100%. Exactly, exactly, class. It's like it's just hard to put it into words, I guess you could say. Putting it into emotions is much easier, because you could definitely in fact, you know, you can laugh, you can cry, you can, you know, smile, whatever, right? But putting it into words, it's just obviously it's the thing that it's the hardest. It truly is in fact the hardest, but you just know for a fact that you have good intentions behind. That's what really matters at the end of the day, you know. But yeah, I just thought it was a very cool opportunity. It was a very, very sweet opportunity, and I'm glad I was able to be part of it. So, on a lighter note, Chad, um, here is the sign without any of us in front of it. This is the, once again, that QuakeCon sign. It's a cool sign. Like I said, this was in fact something that was custom made for the event, and I like it a lot. I'm just wondering how it's gonna go for the 31st QuakeCon, because it's like you have to incorporate the Q in there somewhere. Surely, sorry, I was just checking on something. So you know, how do you do that, right? But chat, could you imagine how much of a power move it would be if I went to the 31st, excuse me, 31st QuakeCon? Because chat, I think it's later into the stream for me to say this. I'm happy to announce that if this is coming back next year, because it seems like it is a yearly occurrence that happens, that always brings in people and always brings in new people, and is something that it just that Bethesda has pride and joy of sharing to the overall passion gaming community. I will be attending it. It's as simple as that. It's very much so as simple as that. And I want to invite more people to it too. Some people in this chat I want to invite. You know who you are. You know, and obviously myself, and then also the people that I invited this, you know, this past weekend. Like, I want to re-invite them again. There was actually one friend that wasn't able to make it. I want to re-invite him, because I think he would love it. I think he would have a great time. 100%. We're talking about QuakeCon 2026, the 30th QuakeCon. To answer your question, JV, I am unfortunately not going to be going to that game, from what I understand, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get tickets to it. I mean, I can try. I can try to get tickets, especially because of the fact that, you know, your brother, you know, I can try to convince, you know, my family, like, hey, maybe I could go to it because my friends are going to it. But as of right now, unfortunately, I do not think I will be going to it. However, if you get an extra jersey somehow, some way, please let me know. I will buy it off of you, 100%. Absolutely. Name your price. You know, that's all I have to say. So, but to back to QuakeCon real quick. Okay, it was solo leveling. That's what it was. Okay, I should have really just kept clicking the pictures to see what this case was. I have a feeling someone in chat knew it was solo leveling, and they were kind of clawing away at their monitor because they're like, "That's solo leveling, Mitch. Please, please. I love that anime. No, how come you don't know this? Who are you? You know?" And it's because I've watched like what, two or three. Chat, this, if you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, okay, so that's pretty cool that there's a Dalek here, but question, is this something that, like, is this like just for show? Was there a PC in this? Chat, there was a PC in this, no joke. There's apparently a Dalek that goes every single year to QuakeCon, and it had a PC in it, which if I can find that photo that had the PC in it, I think that would be a pretty good representation to show you. I think this is a better angle. No, wait, no, that's the same exact angle. I just realized there's an angle somewhere. This is it right here. It was actually is this the TARDIS is what they call it, right? In what is it? Doctor Who, right? I think that's what they call it. But yeah, this also had the PC in it, so it was like it was a mini PC. But then they also had like a PC that was in I'm sorry, that's me jump scare. Um uh, but they had a PC that was also in the actual Dalek. So I thought that was crazy because it was I think it was like two brothers that had this, or no, it was a son and a dad. The son had this, and the dad had the box. So I'm like, the dedication and also the amount of time just to have this be fully functional, and then also show it around to have a PC in it. I don't want to know how much time it took, because it's probably an insane amount. Here's a better view of that Doom PC that we were talking about earlier. By the way, this is in fact Doom Eternal that was playing on it. And this was actually day one. This was before they turned off the lights, which, if you guys didn't know, they have a lights out that starts at 12 a.m. Or I'm sorry, 12 p.m. on the first day. I thought it was just going to be lit up the whole time, but then it turns out that it was just like DreamHack, where they did in fact turn it off for the weekend, and it stayed off for the whole weekend. So that was kind of crazy to see, and it was cool because they were doing like countdowns that you could hear from the hallway, to count down the once it all went down, right? Thank you, by the way, Knocked. I had a feeling it was. I just wanted to make sure because I've never seen Doctor Who, so I just did not know. But I had a feeling I had, at the very least, an understanding of it because I know how relevant it is in pop culture. Also, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, played some Horde mode on Doom Eternal, which I've never actually played Doom Eternal, but I played some Horde mode on this one. This is a custom built AMD PC right there. What else we got? We got Cam. It's Cam. This is the Eternal PC, but in the dark. Its exterior is stuck as a British police box, which I think is pretty funny. Surely there's some like in universe lore reason for that, but I just don't want to shuffle through Doctor Who just to find out why, when I can just probably go online and find that. However, that might just be me, right? But yeah, Doom Eternal. It was on the custom build. I mean, like I played two games throughout. Well, technically multiple, but the two games that I mostly played were in fact Doom and also Cyberpunk. Surprisingly, on these computers. There's me again. Me jump scare. This we already showed off that. This is a picture that Cam took. This was day one. So this is before lights went out, and this is what it looked like. So like you would see that some of the tables were in fact empty, but I promise you, by the end, of that first day, filled. Everyone was filled up, and everyone was just, they had their RGB going. They had, maybe they didn't have RGB, maybe they just had sleeper builds that were like really cool looking going on. No RGB. I just want it to be black and or white, and that's it. Stuff like that. Here is in fact Cyberpunk on one of the desktops. Chat, I've played Cyberpunk about 2 times at this point. I love this game. I consider it one of the best games I've played ever which I know is a crazy thing to say, but I really do in fact enjoy this game. I it's not really a surprise. I say ever, at least for my personal opinion. Like, it's one of my favorite games ever. Because something about it kind of clicked with me, even whenever it was having a very, very awful time because it came out, unfinished. But look, I love Cyberpunk. I thought it was a great game. The expansion's even better for this game, and I can't wait for the sequel. I just cannot, because I think it's going to be cool. And I mean, hey, if you can give me the same quality of Cyberpunk, but like 2.0 Cyberpunk, and or 1.0 Cyberpunk, and not like issues at release date Cyberpunk, we got a good game on our hands. That's for sure. I'm sorry, I just keep getting notifications. Like, why am I getting notifications even though I have the thing set on where it just, it has it set, and I have it to where I'm like, hey, notifications should just spill in. Right, there you go. Anyways, so yeah, not really anything much to talk about other than the fact that these computers did not have Windows activated on them, which I thought was really, really funny. It was just something I observed. Some of them did not have Windows activated. I just thought that was really funny. What do we have? Another angle, Cam and I mean, like, really, what is there more to talk about of the various angles that we took? That there's another angle of the solo leveling one. This one I thought was really cool. This is a custom PC, by the way. This is a custom Crimson Desert PC. Unfortunately, it was not able to run anything except for the wallpaper that is for Crimson Desert, but you can see the specs here. It was pretty beefed up. And yeah, very, very beefed up. Terabyte SSD, I mean, like, custom case, 64 gigs of DDR, 9070 XT, Ryzen 7 9850X 3D. I mean, what more can I say about this? This thing, powerhouse PC, absolute powerhouse PC. So much so that it didn't even run anything. It was just for show, honestly. Also, Ethan, good to see you. How are you today? What am I late to, Ethan? What am I late to requesting for the private theater for Spider-Man? Because I saw it in a public theater, and we had a great time. I'm sorry. Ethan was like, "Hey, birthday gift for you. We'll rent out a full theater for you so you can see Spider-Man with your friends." And most of those plans that I set up, I will admit they fell through because I just did not time well for some of the things. Also, work was going on, and Chad, if you guys didn't know this, I took off work of one of the busiest weekends. Like, that wasn't intentional. I did not pray for the downfall of my job by being like, "Ha, you guys are all, you're all alone, right? Good luck out there." No, I didn't know it was a popular time, and I took time off at a time where it was, once again, popular. So, yeah, not one of my prouder moments. I will admit, I definitely did apologize a lot to my higher ups, and they're like, "You're fine. You gave us like a 2 month in advance, like, reasoning as to why you're not going to be available that weekend." So we were able to slot people in. Like, okay, we're good. We're okay. We're okay. So I live to see another day, right? So yeah, Crimson Desert PC. It's exactly what you think it is. This is what I was talking about when you walked in. I don't know why this image is so oversaturated because I didn't even apply any filters or anything to it. But chat, there's a candy shop that right as you walk in, candy. I should have got some candy. I think we would have both got some candy, and we would have both been like Sugar Crash immediately, solid hour or two in. Here is the front view of the K-pop Demon Hunters case. I think this is a Cameron picture, actually. It sounds like it looks like he took this picture, and I didn't even know that this case had a. I didn't know this case had a. Oh, that's a 5090. So that's a 5090 that's in it. It also has an Intel Core Ultra 7. I didn't even know that. Like, I legitimately did not know that it had also that CPU in it. So, pretty cool. Marvel Tokon. Chat, I heard a lot of people really enjoy this game. I didn't play the beta. I wanted to install it. I forgot to install it because I was a little busy over the weekend that it was going on. However, any Tokon players in the chat, do you guys like this game? I've heard good things about it, but I've also heard like there's some very glaring issues that came out like within the first week of it that hopefully they've addressed, because it's been out for what now, a week at this point, 2 weeks at this point. But Marvel Tokon, people had it on projector. This same exact area, by the way, had also you can't see it, but from the top down there is someone projecting Clone Hero, or I think it was Clone Hero. Yeah, someone was projecting Clone Hero. So if you wanted to, like, if you passed by and you wanted to play Clone Hero, they had like a bunch of Rock Band and Guitar Hero songs pre-installed into Clone Hero on a projector that was on the floor, and it was really cool. I wish I would have tried it. This one's also pretty self-explanatory, chat. Fortunately, these were not for sale, but Scuff controllers by Corsair. These controllers, I felt one of them. I was like, wow, this is really nice. They're also $120. However, chat, a little bit of insider information. Did you guys know that these controllers have been re-signed for another year for the Call of Duty League? Yes, they're going to be using these in Modern Warfare 4. I got a little insider information on that. He was like, yeah, we're using these for MW4. This was the one that I tried, because this one is a PlayStation form factor, but it is a PC only controller. This is the one I felt, and I thought it felt really nice. However, chat, I think this actually gets me into another conversation with you guys. I just recently got a new controller, because unfortunately I packed my past controller incorrectly into my bag, and it unfortunately now one of the sticks is unable to have a pressure point to click into to like run and stuff. So I'm going to use that as a single player controller. It still works, but that one pressure point just does not work. However, I got this controller by the same brand. It is an Easy SMX controller. Chad, I can't tell you how many good things about this controller. This is an insane controller for the price that I paid for, which is like $30 for it. It is rubberized back, rechargeable, as you can see. Hair triggers. There are hair triggers for this thing, which, if you don't know what hair triggers are, basically it stops your left and right trigger from hitting a specific pressure point, so you can ready up like scopes and also fire faster. Like, reaction time is much faster with it, because it sets it to a halfway point rather than a full press down. Also, silent buttons like these, the A, B, X, and Y are silent presses. And it's kind of crazy how very quiet they are. D-pad is omnidirectional too, so I'm kind of used to that with my Xbox 360 controller. Like, this just feels like a really good premium grade, like, Switch Pro controller, but for like half the cost. So I'm not sponsored, not affiliated. I just wanted to gush about how awesome that was. Chat, check this out. You ready? Boom. Arcade machine with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That is me on the left with my mains. Not sponsored yet. That's true. I think I would probably have a better chance with the Corsair, or what did the I'm talking to someone that is on socials that said that they were gonna DM me about a opportunity that was going on for custom controllers, but I just haven't gotten anything back to them. And maybe it's because they're talking to a bunch of people through DMs, which I get. Like, you can put me on a lower end of the totem pole. I get it, right? But yes, like, if I had my own custom controller for you guys, I would be shilling the heck out of that thing. That's for sure. But going back to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, right here, we got my mains here. It is Bontron, Felicia, and also Morgan, both from Darkstalkers, and Tron is from, in fact, Mega Man. That is. Over on Cam's side, Cam had Felicia, Ryu, and also, I'm trying to think who the third person was. I don't remember the third person that he picked. But Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I love this game. It's very fun to play in an arcade cabinet. It's not fun to play on an arcade cabinet, though, that has 3 of the buttons unable to work. Seriously. I was only able to do light kicks and light punches, and was able to switch my character, and that was it. I wasn't able to do supers. I wasn't able to do anything else. And it was kind of a shame because the week prior, Cam and I, we celebrated my birthday a little bit early, so we went to a barcade and we played on one of these machines that had Marvel vs. Capcom 2, this exact same version of it, mind you, and the joysticks and the buttons worked. Like, just all of them worked, you know? So it's a bit unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate, but what can you do? So, yeah, that's all I have to say about Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Buttons didn't work, kind of sad, but you know, it's Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Backrooms. Backrooms. That's all I have to say. It's just backrooms. You know, I just chat. There's something that's not pictured in this picture, but it was more or less by the Marvel Tokon place. Like, it was off to the side. There was a cutout of an anime character called White Claw Chan. It's exactly what the name implies. It was a anime girl that shills White Claws. That's all it was. I thought it was hilarious because I was like, no way, no way. We were walking in to an event and I'm seeing a cardboard cutout of an anime style character that is shilling White Claws. You know, can't tell you the last time I've had a White Claw, actually. And that's the end of the slideshow, Chad. That's the end of it. That's all. There's another movie that is in here. Oh, there's some things that I did, in fact, miss because I feel like it just went back because I think I started from a different point. This is, in fact, a glass case that has a lot of Bethesda history behind it. Right here, you got Doom, you got Rage, you got Hexen, you've got Wolfenstein, you know, Commander Keen, just a bunch. Just a bunch. I mean, check it out. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I shout out to the squirrel from Doom. Big shout out to the squirrel from Doom. There he is. There's that little guy. And also them acknowledging Rage is kind of a big thing because I actually know of a guy that his dad worked on that. So I thought that was pretty cool. What else do we have? What else? There was another thing. Little antidote or anecdote. Little memory here. Chat. Let's talk about this picture right here. Now you're seeing a bunch of people congregate. You're seeing a bunch of people. You know, like what could this possibly be, right? Chat. If you zoom in a little bit right here, it is a hot dog eating contest. This was a hot dog eating contest that was not hosted by anyone at QuakeCon. It was actually hosted by this guy right here that was in fact holding up all of his arms, which by the way was the winner of the hot dog eating contest with 10 hot dogs, by the way. That is in fact one of my friends also that I met at DreamHack back in 2019. That is Faxius. One, you know, guys, what can I say about the hot dog eating contest? I was unable to watch it because I think I was doing something upstairs. But I came down and he was completely, it looked like you just punched him in the gut because he was winded because he ate 10 of these in 4 minutes. 14 in 8 hours? Okay, but try to do it in 4 minutes, though, JB. Try to do it in like 4 or 5 minutes because he ate 10 in about 5 minutes and won. And was feeling it throughout the rest of the night. He didn't even get like pizza later that night because like we were all gonna go get some pizza, and he was just like, "No, count me out." He's like, "I'm just not feeling it, man. I'm just not feeling it." He's like, "I'm way too full." But it got to a point where chat. Once again, this was something that was not endorsed by QuakeCon. Because QuakeCon essentially told us that if anyone were to choke, it would be on us. We would be held liable, and therefore they're like, you guys can host it. So if anyone chokes, you can just call for our EMTs that are downstairs. Luckily, that did not happen. But it was something that QuakeCon was like, you can do it, but we're not going to be officially hosting it. We're not going to advertise this or anything. And it's like, okay, that's fine, and so yeah, got to a point where they had so many of these hot dogs. I'm talking so many of them, to the point where he was just like telling people that were passing by in the lobby, please pick up a hot dog, they're free, they're complimentary, just pick them up. It was hilarious. He was just yelling at random passerbys to like get a free hot dog. So because there was too many of them, there was a good, kid you not, like at least 50 hot dogs still available for free. That's how many they decided to make. Like, they made a lot. They made over 100, is what I remember. So yeah, just hot dog eating contest. It was very silly. Shout out to Faxius for for hosting that along with his friends. And congratulations to him for winning that. I'm actually real quick. Let me give him a shout out because I need you guys to check him out. There you go. You can follow him up there if you haven't already. If you love sim racing, he is your guy. He also plays other games too, but sim racing is basically his avenue. So that's the guy you want to check out right there. Also, I'm gonna love it because he's gonna see that in his dashboard, and he's gonna DM me and be like, "Why did you shout me out? Like, what are you doing? You know, it's like no reason. Don't even worry about it, bro. Don't even worry about it. You know." What else? What else was there? Is there anything else that I may have missed? I think that was really it, actually. I think that was legitimately it. I'm still thinking about this picture, chat. Like, this picture, this is slander material, right? This is slander material, but it's not that bad, okay? Like, me and my primal well, like, me and my primal habitat, where I just always look like I'm about to hunt someone down because I'm smiling at them, right? This one, though, actual slander image. I cannot believe this is an actual image. This is awful. This is horrible. I look like this. This is awful. This is chopped and unk. You know? That's a real slander image. You can use this to slander me 100%. In fact, I'm giving you permission to. We need that in the box? No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. We need your toes. That's what we need, JB. We need your toes. You know? So chat. Well, what are my thoughts on QuakeCon? At the end of the day, what do I have to say about this very glorious event? Well, basically everything that I've talked about within the past about 2 hours at this point is in fact true, and it is in fact very real and something that I will say this was so awesome. It was great meeting new people. It was great talking to some new people, and I would love to do this again. I legitimately think that for the 31st QuakeCon, I would love to go to it. I'd love to bring some friends along, new and returning, and I think we could have another fun time because this was fun and I enjoyed it a lot. It was a great way to spend a very, very hot summer weekend because, mind you, it is August and it was the beginning of August to where we were hitting solid 100-degree weather. It was nice to just be inside, chill, just, have a good time with some people, talk about games, show off some other games. Which actually, I need to talk about something real quick to you guys. That brings me to I guess you could say this is my last portion of the stream here, and that is it was the charity stream, which was available over on this right here. Here, this is what I wanted to show you guys here. Is in fact something that you may have missed, which I think is hilarious because it shows that it's Black Ops 7, Rocket League, Valorant, and then Smite 2 and Paladins. You know exactly who is on the channel because of those two, right? But yeah, chat, if you missed it, unfortunately, I did not raise any money for the Dallas Pets Alive, the charity event that was going on. Like my personal portion, did not raise any money for it. However, very happy to announce that for this overall event, if you guys were wondering, they I know this is not a accurate representation because this was just part of the VOD. This event earned about $1,800 raised for cats and dogs for Dallas Pets Alive, which is huge. That is absolutely amazing. Claps around to everyone in the chat that helped raise money, whether it be in my chat, whether it be in other people's chats, because I know we were all, we were definitely, in fact, we were just trying to drive the point home for this event. I mean, chat, it was just really, really fun to, I was part of the Cats Corner, so it was very, very fun to just see all the cats that were around. There was a lot of them. This pen right here, the one with the cactus, and this pen right here, were in fact two pens that I did see cats jump out of. And they would try to like scurry on the black floor, and you would just have someone scoop up one of the kittens and just put it back in the pen. But apparently on the first day alone, there was like 25 adoptions. So that's pretty cool to think about. And also great people that I worked with. The guy that set me up was awesome. And he actually asked me to do other events for Landfest. I'm in talks, or not in talks currently, but I did tell him to contact me for another event that's apparently happening later this year that is called Land All Night. That apparently Landfest is part of, where they do want me to do another charity stream, because he's like, hey, I like your enthusiasm, I like your vibe. Any way I can contact you. I gave him my business card and everything, and I was like, yes, please, whether it be online or in person, I'm local to the area. Put me back in these events. I it's great to get back into the swing of this, because like I said, like I said to him, um, I haven't done a charity stream in like years. Like, it has been a couple of years since I've done a charity stream, and it was great to go back into one of them. I will admit, I think my biggest fault that I will completely admit live here on my own personal stream to you guys was that I think I drilled the point a little bit too hard home to, like, to raise money. Like, I said it through like many times after every transition that we would do the pet cam like this, where I would just be like, guys, check the corner for the donation link, check the top, like for most recent donations and stuff like that. But I drove that point home, chat. I drove it like very heavily. That's a slander image too. That's also a slander image. No reason, but that I'm just saying, we can pick out really any frame here, and just know that it could be very much so slander, right? This is fantastic. This is what we love to see. Also, I'm trying to back up this VOD because I do have it on my own personal channel. And because I have it on my own personal channel, I'm probably going to be uploading it to the VOD channel, which is available at, I think, like !VOD or something like that, or YouTube, something like that. !Mitch really gets you to the meat and potatoes of everything. So I think that's really the place you want to go to if you haven't already. But yeah, I had a great time with Landfest, with the whole Dallas Pets Alive. Glad to see that they did in fact raise all that money. I would love to go back for, once again, Land All Night, because Land All Night is something that is happening later this year. It's going to be in November. It's beginning of November, and I would love to see if I can get some friends out for that, because they want me to be part of that. And they've invited me to it. So maybe that's the next portion that's on the map. Like, maybe that's the next thing. That is until November though, so we have technically 3 months. We have 3 months to decide, right? But I'll be hyping it up if I decide to do it. It's funny because it's at the resort slash hotel slash convention center right across from the Gaylord, which is the Great Wolf Lodge. So completely different vibe, that's for sure, because one's meant for families, the other one's meant for technically also families, but it's definitely one that is of a luxury experience, so to speak. And the other one's just like, it's kind of like going to Disney, right? So more information on that later. I will think about it. I do want to do it, but I will definitely think about it just to make sure it fits into my schedule. Which, speaking of schedule, I want to end it off with this, chat. I want to end off today's stream with something that I wanted to let you all know. Guys, I know I've been fairly inconsistent this summer in terms of streams. Thank you all for, bearing with me in that. As much as I want to get out streams and such, there's some times where I'm just like either unmotivated, or there's just something that I'm thinking about that I'd rather, get a jump on, and that is later in the week or next week or something like that, to where I just do not stream, right? However, I want to let it be known that I am about to start back up classes. This is apparently my last semester of classes. Kind of. I technically still have to take an internship, but that is something that I can do on my own accord. It is not technically a class. It is just something that I need to get completion, but I can do that at any moment. And I'm probably going to do it next year, honestly, unless I can do it somewhere later this year, which is possible. But I'm about to start back my classes. That is going to be on the 18th that I'm going to be starting those back up. It is my last semester, and for Mondays and Wednesdays, I will not be. I think it's Mondays and Wednesdays. Is it Mondays and Wednesdays? I'm trying to think. No, it might be Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will not be live because I'm pretty much there the whole day. I'm there from like 9 to like 5:30. I'm there basically the whole day. Mondays and Wednesdays, though, I'm just like 9 to 12. So you're probably going to see streams come through those kinds of days, depending on if I'm not going to be at work later that day, right? So just letting everyone know, I'll make an announcement in my Discord, which is available at !Discord. That will be a little bit more concise, so you guys know. And for anyone who missed the stream tonight, it'll be a little more concise for them to know when I am going to be in fact available or when I will be unavailable. So you can kind of get that notion, that little time slot in your mind, right? So that will be the 18th. That is not until, what is it, 5 days from now? Yeah, 5 days from now. I'm excited though to finally be banging out these classes. I think this semester is going to be great, and I think I'm going to do well because the finish line is almost there, Chad. I know a lot of you guys have been rooting for me to really pass that finish line, and I appreciate you all lots for it because I truly thought that I was not going to finish said finish line, like I passed said finish line, just because I wasn't motivated enough to do it, and I also was like, just kind of failing in some classes and stuff like that. One really in particular, that was it, not some, just one. But I got back up. I got back on my feet, and I decided to persevere, and here we are, right? Pretty awesome stuff, if you ask me.